When I first got married, for everybody that doesn't know, I married as a virgin, right? And when we finally had sex, my husband and I, it was the best thing possible. Like, wow, I have been missing all my life. Hi, my name is Ope Praise Gregory, and I am an infidelity recovery specialist and also an intimacy consultant practicing as a romance concierge. Let's talk about sex and marriage, my favorite topic to speak about. So one of the notions that I must correct, right, especially with Africans, sex is not a bad thing. God created sex, and everything that God creates is good. So when I started having sex or enjoying sex with my husband, because it took me about 2 weeks for us to get comfortable with one another, I experienced my first orgasm, and I was just like, oh dang, what is this? And it really just opened my eyes. And so I started speaking to friends and people in church around me, you know, people that have been married much older than I was then. And the resounding thing, or the results or the response that I was getting then was, Ope Praise, shh, shh, shh. You don't talk about things like that. In Yoruba, they say ororimu, which means smelly talk, right? And I'm like, wait, hold up, what? I waited 20 plus years to get the license. I'm married. I was blessed to do this action, and you're telling me to be quiet. Like, no. And then I started doing my research, and I found out that in marriage, most of the people who are having sex just for having sex. They're enduring rather than enjoying. So it just opened my mind, and I opened and spoke to myself, and I said to myself, okay, Praise, you're not going to endure this thing. You're going to have sex and enjoy it. Sex should not be seen as a chore, especially when you are committed to this person for the rest of your life. My husband and I, we explore. There's so many different things that we do. We don't use the same missionary position. And can I just even correct the notion that missionary is the only thing that God understands and God loves? Heck no. That is not truth, and that is not gospel, right? Missionary, if you want to do missionary, do your missionary. I'm not coming for you. I'm just saying that missionary is not the only position that you can have. There's over 245 positions, sexual positions out there, if not more. The only thing that God says is that do not bring an outside party, which is another person, into your marriage. So if you are committed to this person for the rest of your life, and think about it, the rest of your life, it's a very long time. So for you to enjoy rather than endure, there's certain experiments that you need to have. Like my husband and I, if we start off this way today, by the time we're meeting together tomorrow, we may not start off that way. We've explored showers, we've explored so many different things. We've even gone out to different hotels to just experience sex in a different place. I think it's just important to let you know that sex in marriage is one of the key things. And then again, being in the counseling arm of things, and especially as an infidelity recovery specialist, one of the things that you hear is, oh, I had sex with somebody else because my wife or my husband wasn't pleasing me. Listen, that's not necessarily a good enough excuse, but I know that it's an excuse that a lot of people use. Let me say this: infidelity or stepping out of your marriage because you're not happy in your marriage at home, there's no good reason for it. There's never a good reason to cheat. Never a good reason to cheat. What I'm saying is that in marriage, God has ordained this thing called sex. So why do we need to endure? Let's enjoy. Let's explore. And I know also in the Christian community, there's a lot of lewdness that comes when it comes to talking about sex and everything. But sex doesn't have to be vile. It doesn't have to be disgusting. It can be sacred in your marriage. And also, I will say this: let us share with one another what we want and what we like and what we don't like, our likes and dislikes. Let's come together, enjoy. Let's have this openness of being naked and unashamed. Like, I give my clients these exercises all the time. For every scar you have on your body, why is it there? For example, there's a scar on my forehead, and I know how I got it, So my husband should know how I got it as well. There would be scars either under your breast or on your bum or something. Just spend time looking at your spouse's body. At the end of the day, you're meant to be naked and unashamed. So with every scar, with every patch, with everything that is missing or, that is there and is not there, I want to know. And listen, with that comes intimacy. And let's even talk about intimacy. Intimacy is not just sex, right? So a lot of people just think, oh, by being intimate, it just means that is when we're naked. Intimacy is when you know each other. I know you, you know me. We're speaking the same language. There's a language that I'm speaking without even using my words. I'm communicating the frequency that I'm giving up to my spouse. He's understanding me without even hearing me. There's the look that we give each other. There's this look that I communicate with my husband. There's looks of I want you. There's looks of meet me upstairs. Irrespective of who is there, there's looks of I'm angry, or there's looks of I'm hurt. That is intimacy, to be able to interpret what your spouse is saying without using words. So intimacy is very key. So there's emotional, there's physical, there's financial, there's social intimacy, right? Imagine from 30 to 40, that's and add 40 years to it, that's going to bring you to 70. Imagine what you can achieve in that 40 years of being together. I mean, there's no way. You will get tired if you're just doing the same thing over and over and over again. And listen, let me tell you, space should not be an excuse. So I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I only live in a 1-bedroom. It's easy for you to say you have this. You can spice things up. Even if you're living in a 1-bedroom, you can do different positions. You can introduce different things. So for example, let me talk about this. This is what we call a chocolate body pen. If you put this on your spouse's body and lick it off, or put it on your body and ask your spouse to lick it off, that's experimenting, even in that one room. So that's what I mean by, there's different things that you can share. There's different positions. There's different actions. There's words that you can speak to each other. There's different zones on your body that arouses and puts down. Do you know your different zones? So what are you doing? So there's so many things to explore. So for example, I'll tell you, like I said already, I'm married as a virgin, right? So when I was getting to know my body, I literally discovered myself with my husband. There's communication within sex. So if he's on top or I'm on top and he's riding or grinding me in a certain way and I'm not enjoying it, I tell him, babes, let's switch it up. Or if he's going fast and I'm enjoying it and he wants to stop, I communicate. Do not stop, So it's continue what you're doing. That level of communication also comes with intimacy. You can't get there just by going to the bedroom and just being like, I have work to do. This is another work. All right, I'm going to sit down and open my legs and let him do. Listen, I always tell women, men are not the only ones that have gifted to come. They're not the only one that has the gift of coming. We as women also, orgasm is God ordained. Every woman deserves orgasm. Every woman should thrive to orgasm. Satisfaction, your utmost satisfaction. And you can't get there by yourself. You need help with your husband. You need help, even with your wife. Both of you come together and make it work. And that's basically what I'm trying to say. Sex is to be enjoyed and not to be endured. So we've been talking about, sex and in marriage and everything. And I think it's also very important to mention, go back to infidelity when we're talking about sex in marriage. Sex after infidelity is absolutely possible. I know a lot of people want to put, precautions in place. So for example, you want to do ensure that there's no STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. You want to just check yourself that you're clean. But dare I say, majority of the time, those people who have gone through the process, even with my coach, they say that sex after infidelity has actually been great. I dare say even better than it was before infidelity. So now I'm not saying that, go and cheat so that you can have better sex life with your partner. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it is not necessarily a die affair. Like once I've had an affair, I can't, you know, enjoy sex within my marriage anymore. No, forgiveness is not what you do for the other person, it's what you do for yourself. So when you free yourself of the burden, free yourself of the pain, and you've gone through the process of from pain island to pleasure island, there's a different thing that comes into play. And dare I say here as well, the importance of prayer, both in, you know, getting you through infidelity and also in sex, in marriage. That's the one thing I cannot do without. So it is very possible for you to even have, you know, enjoy sex even after you've given birth. So I know a majority of women that I speak to, clients, especially women, they say that after childbirth, they haven't been able to enjoy. There's different reasons. There may be whether you had a vaginal birth or you had a cesarean. Those things come with different hormonal reactions. So do not beat yourself up about it. Number one thing you should do is speak to your spouse. It's very important for your husband to understand as a woman that you are going through this thing that you yourself may not understand. Then also for the man to be also patient with the wife. And I'm not saying let your patience be long suffering, that she's using this as an excuse for the rest of your life. No, seeking help together. Come into a place where you both understand each other and you take it from there, right? There are different hormonal things that could happen. You may have, after giving birth, you may be on the on contraception. That can have an effect on your sex drive. It can lessen it, it can improve it. You can be rabbits that you weren't before. You can, you know, you can reduce or increase, whichever effects it has on you, but you have to speak about it. So it is possible to enjoy sex after giving birth. I have 2 children. The first one was a drag, but by the time I had the second one, it was like, all right, let's quickly. I didn't even wait the 3 months that they advised after my second child. So it is possible, but you have to give yourself time. And this is where understanding when it comes to sex happens. You can't just use it as an excuse, everlasting excuse, right? And then also, even if it's the truth that you're going through hormonal issues with having your sex drive or having low sex drive, you have to work at coming out of it. And there are tools, there are informations that you just need, there's information out there that you just need to equip yourself with. And like I said, speaking to your spouse, bringing your spouse up on a journey. Just like, you know, when you're having a child, you don't take care of the child by yourself. You take care of the child with your spouse, and you know, help each other on the journey into parenthood. That's the same way with sex. And I must stress the importance of prayer here. It is so important to introduce God. A lot of people think that God should just sit outside of the room. No, you've heard it all the time, all your life. Sex is bad. Don't let anybody touch you. Safe sex unto marriage. And then now you're in marriage, you can't fully enjoy yourself, and you can't fully experience the freedom and the enjoyment that God has for you. No, bring God into the marriage. Don't put God outside of sex. Bring God into the sex in marriage, because it's very important, and there's certain things that He can also help you with. And remember, sex is to be enjoyed and not endured. I remain Ope Praise Gregory, your intimacy consultant and a romance concierge, and also an infidelity recovery specialist. Take care and God bless.